digital event. This is the first digital event we are hosting targeting the Americas. In previous years, we've held regional events across the Americas, but in light of the current situation, we're taking this event all digital. My name is Manny Sandhu. I am a program manager for Microsoft Teams product group with a focus on education. I'm based in Toronto, Canada, and I'm joined today by a number of presenters from different groups across Microsoft, plus a team of moderators to answer any questions you may have. I'll discuss that piece shortly. This is day one of a two-day event. In parallel, we have a teaching and learning track taking place, but this track is targeted for the IT professional audience. Let's discuss today's agenda. Right now, we're starting with this keynote, as well as a what's new within this block of time. I'll then transition to Nick for managing Teams policies and governance, followed by Aaron for Teams calling and devices, a hot topic, at least for my group of customers. Talking a lot about this. We'll take a 15-minute break to stretch your legs, and after the break, I'll be back to continue the conversation on discussing Teams and LMS. A lot of exciting news here to share, and hopefully you guys appreciate that. Lastly, Max will be completing today's event with a two-part session on automation in Teams. This is taking you through the options to automate your Teams lifecycle, also to keep systems in sync with the team systems in sync with other systems you may have at your institution. The point of that session or those sessions are help you to save time as well as your staff members' time for ways to automate Teams creation as well as the team lifecycle approach. We appreciate you spending your time with us, whether you're watching live or watching the recording. We'll try to make this as exciting and interactive as we possibly can. There are activities in some of the sessions as well as links to the resources. Just a brief overview for tomorrow's session, chock full of goodies such as cybersecurity, apps in Teams, SharePoint templates and spaces, and a session on professional development. If this is your first session with Microsoft Teams, I wanted to provide an overview of some of the controls you have to control your experience. Let's start at the bottom left corner. You'll see the ability to pause the session. If you're being pulled away or you need a few extra minutes to do the activities, it's a good way to just pause the live stream. Beside that, it's the ability to rewind the live stream. If you need to hear a particular piece again, or you want to really reflect on what was being said, you can hit the rewind button. That will go back on the live stream. And then lastly, it is the live button, which will connect you back to our live feed. Staying at the bottom, moving over to the right, you'll see the captions and settings options. I'll cover those in a couple slides. But also to the right-hand side is the Q&A pane. This gives you the ability to ask questions as well as receive comments or resources from our group of moderators. We do have a group of moderators for these two events, so I highly encourage you to please ask your questions. I did say we're going to try to make this session or these sessions interactive. So once the moderator has posted an introduction or welcome post, please go ahead and like the message. We've designed this event to be interactive, so we're asking you to complete some activities, review links with us, tell us about yourself, and provide some feedback. When you ask a question in the Q&A space, this is a private question to our moderators who will reply to you. And if we receive some really good questions or getting a lot of the same types of questions, we will publish that question for everyone to see. Accessibility is core to everything we do at Microsoft. So at the bottom right side of your screen is the closed caption button, as well as the settings cog for you to select other languages if you prefer. Real-time closed captioning leverages the power of AI to generate closed captions and translations. There are a list of 40 languages, and we have picked a few of the most popular languages based on event registration. Just a quick fun fact that I like to tell all my customers, of the 40 languages you can pick, Klingon is one of those languages. So if you feel like being adventurous and hosting your own live event, go ahead and pick Klingon as one of your translations. As previously mentioned, today's event as well as tomorrow's event is interactive. While you can sit back and absorb the information, I do highly suggest taking the time to get involved. I recommend opening up Teams in the browser so you can do some of the activities while watching the stream. However, if you want to use your client, not a problem. You can do the activities through the Teams client, and the live feed will minimize similar to a picture-in-picture type fashion. Lastly, to reiterate, the feature section in the messages will be used to push links, resources, as well as published question and answers. So please don't forget to scroll up and down to get all the information we are sharing with you. I'm sure you're already thinking about it. I'm sure you're already asking the question, but yes, we will be providing the list or the slides and content that we are sharing over the next 2 days. The slides will be posted at this URL, but they will be posted after the sessions for your reference. That was it for the housekeeping. Let's start with you telling us a little bit about your experiences with Microsoft Teams. The first interactivity that I'm going to ask everybody to do is please go to the URL listed on the screen, aka.ms/teams-edu-live-welcome-IT. It is a link to a Microsoft form with 3 simple, quick questions for us to understand who our audience is, how much experience you have with Teams, what features you're looking forward to, what type of integrations you'd like to see with Teams. Just a reminder, this is an anonymous survey. We really just want to know who our audience is and who we're connecting with. I'm going to pause for a minute for you guys to complete the survey. I'll take a look at the survey to make sure results are coming in, and then we will move forward. Let's set the scene here. We host these events to focus in on preparations for the next academic year and really making sure digital tools are effectively being used to support those remote and hybrid scenarios by helping to share real best practices and the latest information with you. The impact this has on students is tremendous. Several reports highlight the digital skills gap to prepare them for the workforce. Not only proficiency with these tools during their academic life, but also as they transition to the working world, especially now with work being done online or remote for the foreseeable future. Microsoft Teams, as well as the entire Microsoft O365 M365 stack, is a very transferable skill by starting students leveraging the platform through their K-12 or higher ed academic years. It's building that skill set so they can, with confidence, put on their resumes or CVs, I know how to use Microsoft Teams beyond Microsoft O365, beyond the usual, I know how to use Word, I know how to use Excel, but some of the more advanced skills and collaborative tools such as Microsoft Teams. So about About a month or two ago, we released a blog aptly named 2 Years of Change in 2 Months. And this is what we're seeing. The current situation has accelerated digital transformation and essentially transformed how we work and interact. In that blog, we released some of the latest stats around Microsoft Teams, and they are staggering. As 183,000 education users for Microsoft Teams. That's just education. Combined with the other verticals, we're seeing 75 million daily active users in Microsoft Teams. That number is as of April 2020. And in one single day, we saw 4.1 billion, with a B, minutes of Teams meetings taking place. So really, if you think about this scenario the scenario in March and how you're working today and how we're forced to work today and make these plans, Teams really did help all aspects, all verticals, but especially the education vertical support their go online or go remote type scenarios. So what is Microsoft Teams? The way we designed the product is meant to be a single hub which covers all aspects of an educational institution. There is a class template to support teaching and learning. Teams can also be used to support professional development communities and administrative use cases like meeting with the project management team, co-authoring a financial document, or new employee onboarding for the HR team. Whether it is communications or collaboration, internally or externally, the platform of Microsoft Teams minimizes context switching and increases productivity. It is not designed to replace systems at your institution, like the LMS or the student information system or your CRM. It is meant to integrate them into a single platform which can be used across your entire population. The idea of a hub for your institution isn't vaporware. It isn't just something that we say, it's real. And here's an example that we have from the University of Texas at Arlington system. I'll go through the video, it's about a 2-minute video, but I've seen this video many times and I still get so excited to watch this video.
Here at UT Arlington, we have a huge population of students, not only in our region, but we also serve students that are online. Not only do we have diversity in terms of where students are, but diversity in terms of ethnicity and race and age, and also in terms of abilities. For us to find tools that can help us stay in communication in a very efficient way, it's really important, and Teams allows us to do that.
Before Teams, we were using Zoom, Slack, email, Jabber, a whole bunch of tools to try to interact. It was fairly ineffective to collaborate like that.
You have to think about how do we make it easy for students and faculty, administrative people to communicate on a day-to-day basis.
We had had so much change at UTA on the technology front. There was this concern there'd be fatigue on the campus and they wouldn't want to deal with Teams.
Once we had access, it's so easy to use that people caught on right away. Teams allows us to have chats between each other. The video portion in the video conference is huge. You can store materials, files, videos, images. Everything is in one place.
Teams fully integrated in with Microsoft Office Suite. We can still go back into the channel and we can find the file that we had been working on, and we can even collaborate as a group.
My information is encrypted. I can move it to any kind of cloud service that I want to. With all of this product consolidation, we've been able to drive our costs down while improving our quality of service. How do we intend to use Teams for the future? It's just going to grow.
The features keep coming. Teams is bringing a whole suite of things to us that we didn't really have an easy way to get to before. We're able to now work on problems, issues, and future plans for the campus much more efficiently.
Yeah, I still get excited by watching that video. I've seen it many times, but I just love the way the institution got together and really made it successful. Here's another case study. It's slightly different. It is from a U.S. higher education, University of South Florida, but this is more of how they leverage technology in academia. This time it's for their medical school. It goes a little bit beyond just Teams, but this gives you an example of how Teams with technology helps address the concern they have around adapting to the learning, the new way of learning and pedagogy. So we'll take a few minutes to review this.
By this year, 2020, medical knowledge is doubling every 73 days. Every moment we spend with them has to be high value. We have to really be training master learners, not master memorizers.
When we had the opportunity to build this new facility, it really gave us an opportunity to rethink medical education.
We wanted to build a technology platform in a building that would support potentially decades of innovation in the future.
When you have active learning and you're engaging their mind, we know that they don't have to study as much later. So anything that you can do to make that material easier to grasp, I think is really important.
But it was critical that we knew we were using technological tools that were perfect fits to that pedagogic theory, that educational theory, and that led naturally to Microsoft.
Our initial design in this building was actually very traditional. We had monitors on the walls around the classrooms. We moved away from that. We pulled the technology into the room and used Surface Hub 2s to really build a platform that could move throughout the building. Hubs could be used in a conference room, they could go up to a director's office, or they could stay there and support the learning in that space.
The building has been designed in terms of space with lots of small group learning, technology infused within those to allow for collaborating around hubs and whiteboards, etc., exactly as we had envisioned.
The Surface Hub is intended for you to interact with, and so the layout of a room is completely different to encourage adoption of that technology.
We have an experiential learning lab on the third floor of the building where the walls can actually be moved around and you can construct whatever space you need.
Trying to make things more engaged, more active.
Technology creates behavior and space enables behavior. And so bringing those two things together to really help focus on adoption of technologies.
That students be able to join into a classroom experience no matter where they are. And we selected Microsoft Teams for that.
You can be in multiple small group sessions simultaneously. You can be in your lab and teaching a small group. It expands and leverages our faculty in a way that makes it much more efficient.
Vision for Teams really is to deliberately allow more synchronous and asynchronous learning.
Embedded into our DNA is this concept of continuous quality improvement, understanding how the human brain works and understanding how we learn more efficiently and effectively, again, leveraging technology.
Being innovative is really about how do you simplify? Delegate to the computer world what should be delegated to the computer world, and then what happens is then the human beings have the time, space, energy to be doing the things that human beings are really good at.
Now I appreciate that I've shown you two examples and case studies from higher education, but the examples aren't just for higher education. So here's a quote from Jim Clibbert, who is the CIO of Duval County Public Schools. Duval County Public Schools is a large school district in the state of Florida in the United States with approximately 130,000 students. And he says, "The thing I really like is knowing that we have the ability to shift on a dime to online learning if it requires for any situation." Now, what I really like about this quote is it shows the extensibility of Teams, how Teams can be leveraged as while students are in the classroom. It also can be used to provide that same environment if and when they need to go in hybrid or fully remote environments. Teams provides that flexibility to deliver learning in that particular way. So what we've seen is Microsoft Teams is one hub where everything is connected, and we're one hub where everyone is connected. It first starts with communication. Teams is replacing Skype for Business Online, providing you the ability to secure chat, have online meetings, and collaboration, bringing in other Office applications, allowing you to work in a group setting, working on the same document. Teams is not just about Microsoft apps, though. This is the new modern Microsoft. It is an open, extensible ecosystem, allowing you to add hundreds of applications to your Teams environment. Think of this as the App Store on your phone. The experience that you have with your phone with never downloading an app from the store is similar to what a Teams experience would be without leveraging the applications that we have within the App Store. How much would your experience lag in comparison? Apps like bringing in Adobe Cloud, ServiceNow, Zendesk, Trello. And while we have hundreds of applications available in our App Store, we have an extensible platform that if the app isn't there, we allow you to develop your own experience for your apps inside of Teams as well. And then the last piece of the hub is when we say Teams is built for education, it's really there to enhance the teaching and learning scenarios with apps like Flipgrid, OneNote Class Notebook, Wakelet, and many more. You're probably thinking, Manny, that's great, but what does it look like? In this video is how University of East London really went all in with Microsoft Teams by allowing students to have a safe space to collaborate and how they manage a life cycle of a team. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Yanel Ertug, and I will be talking to you about how the University of East London automated the creation of Team for Class based on our student record system and linked Teams with Moodle and other resources at UEL, and thus making Teams a single gateway where students access their required resources. The use of Teams at UEL was initially an IT initiative to promote and encourage communication and collaboration within the department, but we have rapidly acknowledged the potential of the platform in both professional teams as well as teaching and learning due to its deep, seamless integration with Microsoft 365 tools, safe environment for our students and colleagues to engage for synchronous and asynchronous teaching and learning, and scalable and adaptable, making it very easy to use on different platforms, mobile or otherwise. As we started to learn the platform's capabilities, we started to think how we can utilize Teams as a learning and teaching tool, and how we can do so with very little disturbance to faculty and students. We have over 3,000 modules running at different levels. If this was to work, we were not going to ask for these to be created manually. We had to think of a way to automatically create these, link it to our VLE and other resources students may need to access throughout their journey at the university. At that time, the integration between Teams and Moodle didn't offer what we were really planning to achieve. We wanted to create a Team for Class, automatically enroll the teaching team, and every student registered for that module. But we wanted this process to be a dynamic one. Students may change their modules, drop out, teaching teams may change without much notice, and so on. So we needed to create a system that will dynamically manage the membership for every team. Enter MuleSoft, an enterprise bus service that made all of this possible, linking our student information system, our VLE, and the graph to ultimately talk to each other and deliver what we wanted: automatic creation of teams for class and dynamic membership management. Of course, this was not plug and play. Last but not least, we relied on the skills of our integration specialist and other colleagues to make it all happen. So how does it all actually work? In SIT, in every module record, there is a flag which tells the integration engine that this particular module needs to have a team. There is a scheduled process that queries the SITS database for any module that has this flag and looks for modules that do not have a team created. For all modules in SITS database without a team record in the integration database, create a team record for this module flagged as new. For all records in the integration database ready for processing, an API is called to check if a Moodle site exists for that module. If it exists, a team is created which is based on a predefined template, and the Graph API is called to add all relevant tabs and channels and flag these as having been created. A Moodle tab is added using a website tab, pointing at the URL of that respective module, as well as other resources. When the lockdown occurred, we were only a few days away to actually implementing this system, and we were able to make this happen very quickly, creating over 3,000 teams and added thousands of students and staff automatically to these teams over a weekend. We primarily created inactive teams, giving the teaching staff time to prepare content and get the team ready. When ready, the module leader would simply click on the Activate button and students would start being enrolled. If a Moodle site did not exist, a team would not be created but added to a queue where it would be checked again in a few days. All create requests to the Graph API are tracked and flagged in the integration database, so it can be picked up where it left off when the Graph API calls are throttled or fail for whatever reason. Once the modules were created, intensive training went on. I have personally trained over 600 professional and academic staff, as well as approximately 1,000 students on how to work, teach and learn remotely using Teams in a couple of weeks. Of course, this training was delivered using Microsoft Teams. What you are seeing now is a team created by our integration engine, with the name of the team matching that of the record in SITS and Moodle, and with the channels and tabs easily directing students to library resources, study skills, and Moodle, as well as the default tabs that a team for class comes with. Below, you will see the integration engine at work, having removed a user from the team automatically. Once the user clicks on the Moodle tab, they will be directed to the respective Moodle site without having to leave the Teams environment, and using SSO, single sign-on, they will be admitted to the site without having to sign in again. It has been recognized that students could very much benefit from using Teams fully, and therefore we have allowed them to create their own teams and invite their peers. Of course, all based on clear governance and policies to control the number of inactive teams and maintain a tidy household. They have embraced this fully, and since the lockdown, they have created their own community to cope with the situation and stay in touch. At the University of East London, it has been agreed that a blended learning approach will be used in the upcoming academic year, with Teams being the platform used to deliver the online element, record lectures via stream, communicating via chat and team posts, and use Teams as a research tool. This slide gives you an idea of the usage of Teams at the university, with just under 15,000 active users, over 9,000 active channels, all in approximately 6,000 teams in total, and just under 50,000 meetings organized, to point to just a few stats in the last 90 days. The platform has seen a huge uptake from staff and students in the last few months, and will continue to do so in the years to come as more and more features are delivered. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Yanel Erst.
Yeah, it never surprises me how awesome people leverage the platform. What a great example from East London. Just a reminder, we will be covering automation later today. I'm just about up at time, but what I wanted to do is really cover a few last minute slides of what's new. We've invested a lot in Microsoft Teams. We continue to invest a lot in Microsoft Teams. Here's just a really snapshot of all the goodness that we've invested in the product. But what I really want to focus on is a feature that I'm super excited about. Is called Together Mode. So here we have a grid in Microsoft Teams, 7x7 that has recently been released. But we have, with this view, yes, we can see more faces, but we can actually see a lot more backgrounds, and that actually puts cognitive strain on us to really filter in on the individual. So if you're thinking from a class course delivery perspective, we're unable to really quickly see the reactions for the students and see how they're engaging or whatnot. With Together Mode, we use the power of AI and we strip out the backgrounds and we put them in an auditorium type setting so we can clearly see are they engaging if we need to repeat ourselves or call on a specific student for that space. Also, what else is new is the booking apps, the booking app, Microsoft Bookings within Microsoft Teams that allows you to book office hours, tutorials, book labs if they're available. And we'll cover Go1 in the next LMS slide later on today and the new enhancements that we have with SCORM. And then what else is coming soon that we've announced? So breakout rooms, student lobby, student well-being, more class insights, working better with Microsoft Teams. So we're continuing to invest in this space. I once again want to thank you for joining us today. I'm wrapping up the keynote and the what's new. I'm going to